mijn kop. Ik weer dekker moest ziek alleen een paar deemt op. Geef mir geen zacht lid, die drop moest van regen op.
Welcome to Killing Now with Judy Gold. I am your host, Judy Gold, and this week we are re-airing Joy Behar, one of my favorite people in this business, someone who I wanted to re-air this because, you know, with my show going on, yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble, which is at 59E 59. That's right, it's at 59E 59th Street Theater. Joy is someone who has spoken truth to power, called out our officials. She has been fearless. She has been a friend to the LGBTQ community. She's hilarious. And so I thought, it's Women's History Month. My show is running. I think we need to hear Joy. She's amazing. So that's this week. I hope you're enjoying these re-airs. We have new episodes coming up soon, but I am almost done with tech rehearsals, and the show's amazing. People are loving it. I'm really proud of it. I think if you are in the New York area, you need to come see it. It is a call for action. It's just something I'm so proud of. And B.D. Wong is such an amazing director. Like, I can't even tell you how much I have learned from him, how he has brought this thing to life and just made it better than I could have even imagined. It's just been such an incredible process. So I love you, B.D. Wong. We're doing some talkbacks too, so you should check that out. We're going to have some shows where afterwards we do a talkback with BD, one, and there's going to be one with Sandra Bernhard, my lover. I love her. She's the best. And with Mary Trump, my friend Mary Trump. So check those out, but really come see the show. People are telling me how important it is and thanking me, and that just feels like $1 million. So I've never been more tired in my entire life. I mean, probably more tired with the kids when they were first born, but I was young. I'm 60 and I had to memorize 56 pages. It's a lot. It's a lot. And my body with the, you know, you don't realize how much energy you expend on those, on the stage, and I'm sweaty. So I'm loving it. I'm loving telling the story. So get your fucking asses to 59E59. Also, it's at 59 East 59th Street, you fucking idiots. Theater A. What else did I want to say? I do not understand. Elisa is a therapist by trade, my lover. But she was an economics major at Tufts. So she's explaining this whole bank collapse thing, which is so fucking ridiculous. And the fact that they're blaming it on Biden when it's fucking Trump's policies that call, I can't take this. And fucking Lauren Boebert and her fucking 17-year-old son is going to have a kid. She's 36. Like, this is not and she's in, it's fucking infuriating. Like, that's a good role model. 17, being a parent at 17. That's fucking shit. Okay, so that's that. I just want Trump indicted. I can't with the, it's going to happen. It's like, please. It's like trying to have an orgasm on a antidepressant. It just keeps, nothing happens. Even though I actually don't have that issue. So anyway, TMI. I don't know what else I have to tell you. Ron DeSantis is scary. Mike Pence is a fucking piece of shit. These people are disgusting. And the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene had that gavel in her hand, fucking Kevin McCarthy. What a piece of garbage. I can't take it. I can't stand these people. All right, I just had to get that out because I've been just trying to read the news and not watch it. I can't miss Rachel. And I love Stephanie Rule. So, but it's just so fucking infuriating. And then at some point, we're going to have to talk about how people in their very early 20s have no sense of humor. Okay, that's going to be a big topic coming up soon because I can't take that either. Anyway, so I think you're going to love this episode. Sit back, relax, enjoy my interview with Joy Behar. And I'm not ringing the bell because she's not Jewish. ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Joy Behar is here. Woo!
My
Joy.
voice gives me away. One time I was at Loman's, and they had those open dressing
Yes,
rooms.
I love those. Yeah,
and there I am, and I don't want anybody to talk to me, but I was on the radio at the time, so I figured nobody'd know me.
WABC.
And then my brassiere and panties, and some yenta comes over to me, Joy Behar, because she heard me say, how does this look? It's like I can't
Joy,
escape.
you have such a distinctive voice.
I know, but it's like I always say, it's like having Jimmy Hoffa in the back of my throat. It's like it's not. It's
you know
not
what it is? It's similar to Ray Romano's.
Well,
voice.
it's an Italian
yes,
thing.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Oh, also,
Italian.
you know who else sounds like this? Not
Who?
for nothing. Claudia Cardinale, the great Italian actress.
Really?
Yes.
So it's an Italian thing. And the Jews through the nose. Nasal. We're all nasal.
Not everybody's nasal in the entire Jewish community in the world.
Okay, well, not every Italian has a fucking Jimmy Hoffa in
Yes, they do.
Okay. So, just full disclosure, I have been doing stand-up since 1982 in college, and then I came to New York, and I used to watch Joy Behar, only by marriage. Well, ex-marriage, but you're a Jew. You're an honorary
two Jewish husbands.
Right, two Jewish husbands.
Two Jewish
You're an honorary
husbands.
Jew.
Yes.
Okay. I used to watch Joy in awe of the fearlessness. You were fucking fearless.
It
Joy.
looked like that. I was not.
Were you scared before
I
you
had
went on?
the runs,
Really?
a little vomiting on the
Then
side.
you get on stage and be like, fuck you. Yeah. And used to be, I'm divorced. Shocking. I mean, I know your entire fucking act. I loved it. And I used to hang out with your daughter, Eve.
Yes.
Because she was in high school.
Yes.
And I had just graduated college, and we used to hang out in the back.
It's funny you started in 1982 because I started in 1982.
Right. But
I was old enough to be your mother at that point. Yeah.
But I was just in, like, I did a few shows in college and stuff. But yeah. Okay. So Joy, we're going to start from the very beginning.
Really?
Yeah. You grew up in Williamsburg.
Yes.
Which we have to give a bell to. Josephine Victoria Occhiuto.
Occhiuto. The
Occhiuto.
CH followed by an I is a K, like K.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You'll learn that she also taught English. Anyway, only child, just like Eve, half. And Mom Rose was a seamstress.
Yes. Also worked for Jews.
She worked for Jews.
Yeah.
Gino was a truck driver for Coca-Cola.
That's right. Nothing Jewish there.
Okay.
All right.
It was kosher. And then, but I know from knowing you that you grew up in a time, you had this big Italian family. And I remember one of your jokes that always stuck with me was in the summertime, all the Jewish kids went to camp and we went to Stoop.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I always used to
said my family didn't believe in camp. They believed in stoop.
Stoop, yeah.
Yes.
And
they said that the kids who went to the camp were the kids whose mothers didn't love them.
Okay. Jews are very into camps, not those kind of camp. But we're like, even like on the holidays, they all go to a big hotel and everyone eats together.
Yeah, that's true. I like that about the Jews.
Yeah. I grew
they-
up next to the Antonellis and DiSavinos.
Where was that? In Jersey?
In Jersey. We loved them. I loved, Grace Antonelli. She was the nicest, except their dog, Apollo, bit my mother.
Why are you ringing the bell? Antonelli's not Jewish.
That's right. Well, the dog bit my mother. That's why.
Oh, I see. So is the dog Jewish in this case?
No, but the dog hated Jews, was a Nazi. And so I remember one time I used to go over there all the time. And one time it was Passover. And
God, this could be an extremely annoying feature of this podcast.
It is. But then you get you're like, oh, you forgot. It comes. All right. So anyway.
I mean, unless a bunch of Hassids are listening, I'm not sure.
All right. So people bring them to my shows.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I remember one time it was Passover and she was like, are you hungry? You want a hot dog? I was like, sure. And then I went home for dinner.
Who are you talking about?
Grace Antonelli, my neighbor.
Grace Antonelli.
I went over. Rosemary was my
It was
friend.
hours ago that we mentioned her.
And so then she gave me a hot dog. I went home for dinner. I was like, I'm not hungry, which was never the case. And she's like, my mother's like, why? And I said, because I had a hot dog over at the Antonellis.
Was it a kosher hot dog?
No.
Oh.
And she went fucking, oh my God, I try so hard. Mental. Okay.
She didn't have Hebrew National at the Antonelli's.
Oh no,
They just had like
everything bacon. They had a one. Did you have this? It was like a pan, an iron
bacon.
pan
No,
that always had grease in it.
No,
like
no,
it was
no.
just ready to go with the bacon.
No. We had, and my family was raised on pasta fazool.
Right.
So we didn't have a lot of money. So my mother was a cook. They all knew how to cook from scratch.
Wow.
And everything was fresh vegetables where you got on the corner and all fresh stuff.
And you ate like that?
Yeah, that's how I ate. I never had preservatives or anything in my food.
So that's why you're going to live forever.
Well, hopefully.
But you had these Sunday. My neighbors had Sunday
Oh,
dinner.
yeah, the Sunday dinner. Well, that's why they're fat, too, because
Right.
the family's not slim.
Right.
The food was not processed, but it was
Right.
fattening.
Right.
So, so they had the Sunday dinner with the braciole and the meat sauce and, the whole, and then lasagna, everything. I mean, fattening
And did
food.
you have cousins? You were an only child.
Yes, well, I was an only child in the family until I was 7, and then my cousin Valerie was born.
Right.
She was named Valerie. My grandmother was my cousin. My grandmother's name is Antonia, and it was like, why are they naming her Valerie? My Aunt Joan, her mother, said, "Well, I saw it on a soap opera. I like the
my
name."
God.
She hated that. How come they're naming her Valerie?
What does Valerie do?
Valerie had a job at Hershey. They live in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
yeah.
very nice.
She's
Very
7 years younger than me.
Wow. And that's it?
Up until then, I was the queen of the goddamn family.
Right.
And then Valerie
Did you
came
fucking
along.
hate Valerie when she was born?
No, it's funny. At 7 years old, you kind of like, I have a baby.
Right.
Yeah, I liked
And
it.
is that it for that generation?
No, oh no, hundreds followed.
Really?
Hundreds followed. Then there was Annette. Then there was then there was Vincent and Anthony.
Right.
And then there was another Vincent and another Anthony.
Right.
They haven't had a new name in the Italian family since the Renaissance.
Except for Valerie.
Valerie. That's why she stuck out.
Right. So you used to perform, right?
I used to perform. I was like the TV set.
Right.
They'd say, "Come on," I'd be like 4 years old, sing another song, tell us some jokes. I'd be 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Come on, one more. And I had to learn every Shirley Temple routine.
But did they have people come over and be like, Joy's going to do it? Like, did they sit around and now it's Joy time?
Yeah. My cousins, not my cousins, but my aunts and uncles and the rest of them. It's like, get a life. Get a life. And they just made me a performer, which I kind of like grew out of it as I got older.
Right.
And then I shut down on it. It was like, who am I doing this for? Am I doing this for me or for them?
Right.
But then I needed the money. And when I was 39 years old, there I am alone in the world. I have no husband. I have no job. I have no career. So I said, let me tap into this little talent I have that they developed.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you went to public school. Then you went to...
I never went to a Catholic school.
Never.
Ask me why.
Why?
My mother said she didn't want to go. That sums up my childhood. I didn't want to go to Catholic school. I didn't want to do certain things. I never was told what to do.
Wow.
Never told me to shut up. Never told me where to go to school. Nothing.
Do you think that was bad?
I don't know. You have before you the product of this kind
Right,
of
but you're
ultra
good.
permissive
But you
behavior.
but you're not an asshole.
I'm not an asshole, but I had no boundaries whatsoever.
Right.
I had to create my own boundaries.
Do you think you did that with Eve? Create a boundaries?
My daughter claims that I was not strict enough, that I didn't insist she do her homework at a certain hour.
Right.
She is she's like Frau Brucher with that kid. That kid, God forbid he looks at the iPad she has a fit. And he and I are in cahoots about it, though. Come on, I'll give you half an hour. I'm Grandma.
I'm horrible with the kids. All right, so were you popular in high? Like, were you?
I was in school.
Yeah.
I was popular, but I was also not popular with a certain group.
Right.
It's almost like the way my life is now, where the Trump haters hate me.
Right.
The Trump lovers hate me, rather.
Right.
And the Trump haters love me.
Right.
So it was like that. I had a group that loved me, and then these other girls would come from other neighborhoods wearing a clothing that was like weaponry.
Right.
They'd wear like garrison belts and leather jackets, and they'd have gangs, and they'd come into my neighborhood, try to find me, and try to beat the shit out of me. Why? One shrink said it was because I wore Bermuda shorts. And they were horrified and stupefied by my Bermuda shorts. And so they came in and started arguments and fights with me. They'd start pushing me like that.
But
and
you defended yourself.
Well, I would start to talk. I'd say, listen, they'd say, you called my girlfriend Thomasina a tramp. I'd say, who the fuck is Thomasina? First
What
of all,
kind
I
of
don't.
name is that?
Well, it's like Tom
I know.
and I hate names like that. By
I
the
do
way.
too.
Like Robert becomes Roberta.
I know.
It's like a boy's name that they turn into a girl's
yeah,
name.
I know. I hate that shit.
My real name is Josephine,
Right.
which is
Joe.
Josephine.
Right.
I don't like that.
Right.
Judy is not. Judith is like from the Bible.
Yes, I killed someone actually in the Bible.
Did you? Who'd you kill?
I forgot.
Ring the
Can you
bell.
look that up? Oh yeah,
It was
from the
called
Bible, and I killed someone.
homicide by Jewish.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
So you. But did you go home to your mother and be like, "Oh my God"?
No,
this
I never
girl's-"
told them anything.
Yeah,
no,
same,
I would never
same.
tell them anything. I tried to tough it out, and I'd talk them out of it sometimes.
So that
know?
you used your wit. And
Yeah,
humor.
I'd use my wit. I never actually. One girl was threatening to bite my neck and everything. I was like, "What are you, Dracula?" And I was like a kind of kid who was pampered. My mother would buy me clothes
Right.
at Macy's little shops, and I was treated like a queen, even though we
Right.
lived in the tenement.
Right.
For some reason, I never thought we were poor. My aunts all had mink coats and mink stoles.
Right.
But we had to walk up 5 flights of stairs.
Right.
To get into
Were
the
they
apartments.
were they immigrants?
My mother was born here. My father was born in Italy. He came when he was a child, and she went back there when she was a child because her mother died in childbirth.
Oh, that's
Very
terrible.
sad story. Yes, poor girl.
That's terrible.
Yes, and she never mentioned that my grandmother that I was raised with was
Wasn't-
actually not my blood grandmother until I
Wow.
was 17. What? Although I didn't even think anything of it at
Right.
the time.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
How did they meet then?
They met in Williamsburg in the
Oh, they
neighborhood.
did? Okay,
yeah,
they
because
didn't
then
meet
they all
Right.
settled in that Italian
Right.
pocket surrounded by Hasids.
Right. See, I told you you're going to remind me. Okay. Okay. So then you graduate. You go to
Washington Irving High School,
Right.
which was in Manhattan, which
Right.
was a saving grace for me because otherwise I would have had to go to ED, which was called Eastern District High School,
Right.
ED, which they called ED Educated Dumbbells. That was like
Really?
the nickname of the school. I didn't know. I don't
I
know.
thought
any-
it was erectile dysfunction.
Well, it is now.
Now, yeah.
But in those days, it was Educated Dumbbells. And that was my school that I was zoned for.
Right.
And my Aunt Julie said, no, you're going to Washington Irving on the L train. And that's why I went there. And that's where I met the top lesbians of New
No
York
way.
City. Oh, my God.
There were
First of all-
lesbians
first
that
of
were
all-
out in high school?
Yes. It was
What?
yeah. In 1960 to
No
60.
way.
I was there 60 to 64. Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. They were out in school. Like,
Yeah.
I knew it was the biggest secret. Like, I had a fucking ulcer.
Well, see, these were not every one of them was out.
Right,
I
right,
later
right.
found out.
Right.
But this was all girls school. See, they were comfortable with saying that they were lesbians.
Right. And no one fucking shunned them. And
No, no, not at all. It was a complete. First of all, a lot of girls in that school were art majors.
Right.
I was in the academic track. I was in
Right.
all the good classes, and we were not stupid. We knew. Wow. We were not homophobic in high school.
that's amazing.
Yeah. After
Well, plus there were
yeah.
other things to worry about. Like,
yeah, like
I feel
passing
like
the regents.
right.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of people in my community, the LGBTQRST,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like they're fighting a fight that, and they're fighting us.
Yeah.
You're not calling me this. You're not standing up for this. And when, you know, we were fighting for our lives during the AIDS crisis.
Yes.
And you're fighting because I didn't say they. I know everyone's going to get pissed off.
Oh, what you're
but-
saying is very politically incorrect. these
Right,
days,
but I'm
yeah.
just saying, you know, don't attack me. I'm one of the people who fought for you to
Yeah.
be able to be who you are.
Yeah.
Don't yell at me for making an honest mistake. You wouldn't be where you are.
Well, they're trying to, I guess, educate you also into the 21st century.
Right. I'm being
version.
educated, but I have a new joke about it.
What is
Tell
it?
me if you like it.
Tell me.
Okay. So I said, I feel like the next generation is trying to get rid of gender, period. So there'll be no gender. And I was thinking, if there's no gender, how are we going to know who to pay the higher salary to?
It's good.
It's good,
That's
right?
A good joke.
It's a clap joke.
I mean, it's not a joke that you laugh at.
No, it's where they're like, whoa, yes.
Yeah.
But then when I say a hysterical joke about like a morbidly obese person, they're like, whoa, it's so fucking annoying.
Those days are gone, Judy. You can't do
I keep
morbidly
fighting it.
obese jokes anymore.
I do
you
it
can't
anyway.
do fat jokes.
Tough shit. No, I did. All right. You got a BA in sociology from Queens College.
Yes, and an MA from Stony Brook.
I know I have that, but were you the first one in the family to go to college?
Yes, I was.
So what was it like? Were they like
came to graduation?
Joy is going to college. Josephine? Did they call you Josephine?
No, called me Joy.
Joy is going to college. Did everyone come? Was it like a big Italian?
No, but my father tore himself away from the racetrack to come.
Wow, that's good.
That was big.
Right.
My aunts always came to open school night, though.
Right.
My mother and my 2 aunts would show up at open school night to hear the teachers praise me. They felt.
Wait, so it was like instead of your mother and father going,
my mother would come, but my
mother and your 2 aunts would come.
My father wouldn't come.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And the 3 of them would come all for pits. And the teachers, Mrs. Beckenstein, would tell them she's doing wonderful work, and they would just glow.
My mother said for pits all the time. Okay, that's so great. So you go to college where did you have a big party and like
a graduation party? Yes, yes.
So you go to college, you study sociology
with an English minor,
right? And then do you meet Joe Behar?
I met him at college.
You met him at
Queens College.
Queens College.
Yeah, he was a real serious student of sociology, meaning that you fell asleep when he started speaking.
Right.
That's a serious student.
Wait. So and he was he older than you?
No, same age.
Same age, and you met in class?
I liked the way he looked. He was very cute.
Right.
Very tall and skinny, my type, like my daddy.
Right, that's Jewy, like accountant-y looking, like tall,
no, not
thin.
Jewy. He's Sephardic, but he's blonde, tall and blonde. He looked Polish.
Okay.
I thought he would. This is a funny story. I thought he was Polish.
Yeah.
I thought he was Polish because he had blonde hair and looked very Polish. And then I looked at his watch. He had Hebrew numbers on his watch.
Oh, I love him. Okay.
And I said to him, "Where did you get that watch?" He said his dentist gave it to him.
Oh,
I've never heard of a dentist giving a patient a watch.
What is that?
I don't know.
You should have known right there it wasn't going to work out. Okay, so then
I started talking to him a little bit, and he was not responding that much. So then I see him in the hallway, and I hit him on the head with a book, and I ran. Imagine that. I was 17 or 18 years old.
Right.
And then he came back to the classroom and he said, some crazy girl just hit me on the head with books, and he knew it was me.
Right.
And then we went from there. That's the story. That is. And here is what I learned from that. Don't pursue the guy. Let him pursue you.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work out.
So you introduce.
My had a shrink who used to say, remember, the man has to have the erection, not you. And I take that
so
seriously.
Funny.
Yeah.
So you bring him home to your Italian family.
Loved him because he was tall. My aunt went bananas. My aunt Rose.
I can't believe you're not attracted to me. If you were a lesbian, you'd be attracted to me because I'm tall. Okay.
I know. But my aunt was like, "Oh, he's so handsome,
right,
and so tall." I mean, the Italian men in my family were like, my father was considered tall, and he was like 5'10".
Right.
And there comes a 6'1" blonde yet.
And they didn't give a shit that he was a Jew?
They liked it. My mother used to say, marry a Jewish guy. They're good to their wives.
Wow. Yeah. So you marry.
He was not a regular Jew. He was a Sephardic Jew. They're completely different.
They're not. Now they're all going to yell at you for saying the regular Jew. Well, one's Eastern European and one's.
Well, what do you mean a regular? And I don't mean he's irregular.
Right. No, I'm saying.
The Jews the ones that I'm familiar with.
Right. So the Sephardics are like Spanish.
They're from Spain.
Yeah.
His family
Morocco.
Was from Turkey.
Yeah. And they have different. They have different laws. Anyway, so
they have also different food.
Right.
They had Spanish food.
So good.
It was delicious.
And they can eat peas and rice on Passover in Ashkenazis. And I was just like, after I heard that, an Ashkenazi can't. I'm like, fuck that. Why does because where you were, you can eat peas and rice. I'm fucking eating peas and rice. I'm done.
Well, a lot of those dietary things come from people dying, I would assume. Like pork must have.
Yes, that was.
Killed a Jew back in the day.
Right.
And suddenly Jew can have a piece of pork.
But you can't have bread on Passover. So so there's something about peas and rice you can't have, and I
never heard of that peas and rice.
Yeah, peas and rice. Ask
That's
my
a
mother,
new one
but she's
on
dead.
me.
So,
but the rules changed.
Yes.
Like I grew up Italian Catholic. You weren't supposed to. You had to have fish on Friday. They changed that now. You can have fish on Friday. You can have meat on Friday.
Well, you can get a tattoo now if you're a Jew.
Seriously,
I get a lot of letters. Yeah, there was an article in the Times. They're like. Some major rabbi, blah, 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 said that it's okay to. First of all, like, you can't get a tattoo, but you can get, enhanced tits.
Right.
Facelifts,
Botox.
Gastric bypass surgery.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't. All right. ears
penis
pierced.
enlargement.
Yeah, the ears pierced. They do that immediately. Some of them.
But the tattoo is based on what? That the body goes into the grave. How it came in.
Whatever.
Well, I thought that was a good rule. It stopped people from putting all those stupid pictures all over themselves.
I can't take it.
I mean, then you can't.
I
take
have
them
to
off.
say. Like sometimes I see like an attractive woman walk and she has a short skirt on.
Yeah.
And then the legs, I want to go get a sponge and fucking wipe all. I'm like, there's dirt all over. What is that?
I don't know. And I don't know, but why do you have a scar on your knee? Did you get?
I had a total knee replacement.
Oh my God, you were a little young for that, aren't you?
Yeah, I was 49 when I had it.
Why so young?
Well, I'm gigantic, and I was. I've arthritis, and I ran the marathon, and now. It was affecting my life, but now my other one affects my life, and I had such.
You got to do that one too now.
Yeah, I can't deal with it.
I hear that it's very painful.
Horrible,
knee surgery.
horrible,
Yeah.
and they don't tell you, and you shrink. I've shrunk.
Well, you're going to shrink even more, but that's
the
all right.
fuck up.
You've
No, it's all right.
got height to spare, honey.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so how old were you when you got married? You got married
I
in
was 22.
1965.
I had just turned 22. Yeah.
And did your parents say you're too young? Well, that wasn't young.
My two aunts who used to come to open school night said, "Are you sure you want to do this? You're so young." Yeah, they were the same ones who said to me one time, if you don't meet them in college, you'll never meet them.
Right, that was a big thing.
So they
to get
set
your MRS in college.
Well, they set me off on that, and then at that time, everybody was getting married in my group, except for one smart girlfriend who went to law school. The rest of us all got married.
Was the girlfriend Jewish?
No.
Oh, so but my mother got married at 35 or 32.
Well, my Aunt Rose
32.
got married at 35, and her mother,
Did she have kids?
her sister-in-law, her brother's wife said, "I thought you'd never do it. You're so old." In those days, 35 was a spinster.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
and my mother was over 40 when she had me, which was ridiculous. Like, no one did that. Okay. So he was a professor, though. Joe.
My husband?
Yeah, he became a professor.
He became a full professor, yes.
And so you end up, do you go right to get your master's right after? You get your master's in English
I got married to him, and then we went on the most depressing honeymoon anyone was to the Nevele.
At the Nevele.
And also...
remember that commercial? At the Nevele.
I've worked the Nevele many times in the Fallsview since then, yeah.
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
so, we had I thought it was a depressing honeymoon. And then the guy gets
Did you have premarital sex?
Technical.
Right.
Technical.
But did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed the technical.
All right.
And I enjoyed all the feeling up and the pre intercourse. As soon as it became like a man on top of me, I didn't love it as much.
Right.
But now I do. It took me many years.
So, ladies, if you're out there listening, okay.
And the what do you call it? The feeling up. What did you call that part?
Feeling up.
No, like the
petting.
Petting.
Yeah,
that's
petting.
the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Petting is the greatest thing in the world.
Right.
I love petting. I could pet. In fact, that's why I have dogs, so I can pet them. No, seriously, petting is better than actual sex. I don't care what anybody tells you.
So you marry Joe, you get your master's, and you move to Long. Did you move to Long Island?
No,
you taught at Lindenhurst.
Listen to me.
Sorry.
First, he got his degree.
Right.
And we moved to, I'm sorry, you're right.
I knew it. I knew it.
After we got married,
right?
We did one. I got a job as I worked at the unemployment office,
right,
in Brooklyn.
No, you didn't.
I did. I had to interview people for jobs and then train them. It was an interesting job.
It was?
Well, the Navy Yard was going out of business, and I had to reschedule assignments for them. And I had to get them training at the Apex Technical School. No, they were thrilled to be out of work and getting a free government training,
right?
Which is what they need to do now with people who are out of work. Anyway, so I did that.
So they trained them for other jobs. So the government was taking care of them. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting thought.
Yes. Isn't it
that you pay taxes and then the government
takes care of people.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, I just passed out. Go.
So I had that job and I enjoyed that job. And then my husband decides that he's going to go get a job. He had a master's from the New School, and he got a job as a professor in Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island.
Right.
So I had to go with him there, which I would never do that now. I know women.
Like, go fuck yourself.
We don't want to go traveling with you. You live there, I'll live here, and we'll see how it works out. What is the point? But I went there. I went there with him, and then after a couple of years of that, we took a teen tour group across the country. It was one of the worst things I've ever done in my life. These little teenagers, I still have it over here for them.
Right.
They'd pick up boys along the road. But one of the girls was having an affair with the bus driver. I mean, it was the worst. One day, my husband came late, and one of the girls was late also. They was getting out of the hotel late, and I said, "Where's so and so?" And they go, "He's with your husband."
Fuck you.
I know they were terrible. So we did that, and then we moved to Long Island to get the PhD at Stony Brook for him. And then I was getting my master's. I got pregnant. We had a baby, and then that was it.
Right. So you had a baby, Eve.
Right.
That's a half.
She's a half.
And you're stuck in Stony Brook, Long Island. This Italian girl who was, grew up in Brooklyn and then went to high school in Manhattan.
Right.
Is stuck in fucking Long Island.
Center Reach.
Right.
Long Island.
What's the exit? You remember?
Exit 60.
Yeah, exit 60.
The worst.
And you became depressed.
Oh, yes. I was okay for a year.
Right.
Right after I gave birth, my side of my face dropped.
Right. Oh, you had the Bell's palsy?
But the doctor, I was petrified. I was nursing a baby, and suddenly my face drops.
Right.
And I go to see this local doctor there, and he goes, "Well, I don't know what it is. It could be an aneurysm or maybe a brain tumor. I really don't know." So I thought I was going to die right in the middle of breastfeeding a baby. It was terrible time.
Horrible.
So then I finally find a smart Jewish doctor, and he tells me, "Oh, you have Bell's palsy." And he says to me, I said, "How did I get that?" He said, "We can get it from a breeze.
So
in a car." So I said, "It's a wonder more dogs don't have Bell's palsy.
Right.
They're always got their head out the window getting a breeze." And then I went away after a few weeks, and then I came out of that like blossoming. I was planting, and I was doing paper mache puppets, and I was
Bell's
getting my
You can get it from stress too.
Well, no, I think I was getting it from the labor-inducing drugs they gave me to give birth.
Okay.
But that year was fabulous for me. Painting, watercolors, paper mache, being a mommy.
Was your mother and your aunts coming to visit you?
Yes, they visited, but they were very far away.
Right.
And then after a year, I completely crashed. I took to my bed and I couldn't get out of bed. I was so depressed.
So how long did that was a clinical depression?
Then I found a shrink.
So, but what were you able to take care of Eve during that? Because when I had a clinical depression, I had a very difficult time.
I took care of her, but it was hard.
Right.
And then because I found a therapist.
Right.
I always feel that I had a therapist in college. I had a therapist.
18, I started.
Always with a therapist, and people should know that that's available to you.
Right.
And she charged plenty, but I was on like a credit with her. I said, when I sell my house, I'll pay you back, and that's what I did.
But see, doctors don't do that anymore.
No, but there are clinics. I went to the Postgraduate Center for Psychoanalysis. They gave me
I went in college.
$20 a session.
Yes.
You can find places where they'll help you. And so
and they do help.
She got me out of it, and I was on the right track. And then I forced him to move back to Queens.
So, and was the marriage going okay?
Yes, it was going okay until then. I mean, it went okay for about 10 more years.
Right.
So it was like in about 16th year, it started going downhill.
So you are stuck there. You have a kid, and how long did you live there? Exit 60
in Rhode Island. I mean, in Long Island. I think two years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You come back. You're better.
I'm better.
And
now I'm alive. I'm in Forest Hills, which is closer to my mother and father, which all my friends are there, and I'm fine. And I had a great place to live too.
And then you become a receptionist at
then I was teaching.
You were teaching in Lindenhurst.
I was teaching when I lived at Exit 60 before I got pregnant. I taught at Lindenhurst High School and Babylon High School as a sub. And then when I moved to Queens, I got a job as a teacher too in Queens.
And that's where the jokes come from, right? With
some of the teaching jokes.
Yeah.
I also taught English as a second language.
Yes, I love that.
No, that's politically incorrect. I'm not doing that.
Oh my God, it's the funniest joke.
I'm not doing that. I don't know.
God.
I don't know which.
This is what my book is about.
I don't know which joke you're talking about. Oh, that. Oh, you could say that.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
No, the kids would be. Well, and this was in Rhode Island when I was teaching in Rhode Island, which I taught there too.
Right.
The kids would be, Miss Behar, he said F all the time. They'd be snitching on each other.
Right.
Miss Behar, he said F. Finally, one day I said, "Okay, who the fuck said F?"
And what about the one where you were like, who and whom?
Well, that was when I taught high school dropouts down on the Lower East Side.
Right.
And I was teaching basically hyperbole to pimps down there. A lot of them were like pimping, a lot of kids. And they were adults. They were not kids. I was teaching them to pass the GED. And I was teaching who and whom. Well, how does that joke go? I don't remember it. Whom do you wish to murder? Not who. I'd always make it relevant to them.
This is like, I don't think I've ever laughed this much because I think you're fucking hilarious.
But I can't do those jokes anymore. So what's the point?
But they make me happy, so that's all that matters. When do you get the job at GMA? Good Morning America.
Well, now I'm teaching several years.
And where's Eve going to school?
Eve is going to school in
That's a half a one.
Long Island, Queens.
Right. Public
school. Oh, she went to all public schools.
She's such
just
a good
like
kid.
me. We don't believe in private schools.
Same.
I think
All public
schools, where you have a diversity. I don't like all these same brats.
Oh, my God.
Did you see that this Epstein character, this child molester, was teaching at Dalton?
And William Barr's father was the principal.
I know, but he fired him, I think.
Right, but he didn't have a fucking degree.
Not even a degree.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. Why do they charge so much to go to a school like Dalton
they can hire
when the
people who
teachers
don't-
are less educated than me?
Right.
Thank you.
Don't even.
All right.
Okay.
So what else? Where were we?
I hate that motherfucker.
Oh, of course.
And it's just so bad for the Jews.
Well, everybody.
We got Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
We have Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
We have Jared Kushner. We have...
Yeah, but there's Donald Trump. He's not Jewish.
No, he's a Nazi.
He's involved. With them, but
he likes them.
You can't put this on the Jews. Stop it.
No, I'm just saying we're getting bad press. Okay, so you think Stephen Miller doesn't write those fucking horrible speeches?
He does. He's a horror.
And his parents they're shunned and they can't stand him.
I can't stand him.
He's from a liberal. He's from Santa Monica.
I know, but power corrupts, and absolute
his
power
uncle,
corrupts.
Holocaust
absolutely.
survivor child, wrote that op-ed about.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so how do you get your job at GMA? Good Morning America.
Well, Joe Behar's cousin, also Jewish, Henry, was the lighting director at GMA.
Okay.
And I had decided I wanted to be in show business.
Okay.
So the only job that was available there was the receptionist. Okay. So that's how I got the job. But I was a terrible receptionist,
how
as
bad,
you know.
Like what
well, I'll tell you one story, which is a story about I would answer the phones, Good Morning America, Good Morning America, Good Morning America. And I'd get calls, where is Joan? Why is Joan London? Well, how do I know? I'd say, I don't know what she's doing. She's lactating. Which she was. She always had kids she was breastfeeding somewhere in the building. And then one time they called me up and they said, and this is a true story, was that Albert Speer on the show today? He wasn't Jewish. Albert Speer's a Nazi.
Oh.
Take that away.
Wait. Undoing. Okay.
So they call me up and say, is that Albert Speer on the show today? And I'd say, yes. And say, Albert Speer, the Nazi? I say, yes, he was on the show. He was.
Yeah.
He wrote a book. He said, how dare you have a Nazi on morning television? I said, look, I don't book the show. Okay. And anyway, it's hard to get Nazis on this show. I said to the guy, you have to fly them in from Argentina. And it's an expensive proposition. They all want to be driven around a Mercedes or a BMW. And I hang up the phone. I got fired from that job. I don't know why, though. Look how good I was at this.
Oh, my God. And did you feel great? Like you had just done a bit? Like...
Well, no, I had just done a bit?
Well, no,
that wasn't a bit. I meant it.
No, I know, but it's so fucking. But did you know that it was fucking hilarious?
No, but you know how this is one thing about Good Morning America that I will give to you as a comedy story is that at another point I was surrounded by people at a desk and I used to answer all their phones. At 4:00 in the afternoon, we would have lesbian hour at my desk. Seriously, we called it lesbian hour.
Right.
The only guy who was allowed was the George Merlis, who was the EP, and he was a great guy.
Right.
Otherwise, it had to be females. They were all women. There was only one actual lesbian there,
right.
though. Whatever. So that would be where I would hold court a lot, and I'd say funny stuff. And if they laughed after it was over, I'd write it down.
Wow.
And that's how I started to write my act.
Right. And so when did you first and where did you first... First of all, you get divorced in 1981, correct?
I think so, yeah.
And was that awful, or you were
Awful.
just fucking?
The worst. I guarantee you, anybody who's thinking about getting a divorce, think
It's
twice.
hell.
It's hell.
It's hell.
Well, I have a theory about that. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
My theory is that, particularly with your first husband and when you marry very young, you don't know what you're doing. You're still unformed to kind of
Right.
in a
Which
fetal
is
state.
same as why people put tattoos on when they're 18 years old.
You don't know what you're doing yet. And what you're really doing is marrying a form of your parent.
Right.
And so when you get divorced from that person, it's almost like being abandoned by your parent.
Right.
That's the reason that it hurts so much.
Right.
It's very, very painful.
That's interesting.
But
because,
you have to separate from your parent.
Absolutely.
And so after a while, it works out.
So same with me and Sharon or Schwendy.
Yeah.
Is that, she was like a mother to me, mother figure to me.
Exactly.
And then what prompted the divorce? Cheating?
Could be.
I know what it is, but I guess we're not getting into that.
A man never leaves his wife unless there's another woman there.
Please.
And thank God we never get rid of them.
Right. But also the it's same with the gays.
Yeah.
Like when people say we're getting divorced, I always say who cheated. And they're like,
It's
no,
usually,
it's
there's usually a third party.
right.
Usually.
It's constant. All right.
You could say that we've outgrown each other, or you could say we've grown apart, and all these other lies that
Right.
people say.
But it's somewhat-
But you
but you
need no. You need a catalyst,
Right.
And the other person is the catalyst.
Do you think sexting with someone is cheating? Like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
yeah, I do too.
absolutely.
So you get a divorce. Do you get full custody?
Oh yes, there was no issue with that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no.
Did Eve see him a lot?
Yeah, she saw him.
All right, but she liked you better.
Well, it's not that. I mean,
Oh, come on.
she saw him as much as she could. He moved away. Well, he moved back to Exit 60. I think he always really enjoyed.
Wanted to be at
Wanted
Exit
to be
60.
at Exit 60. That's one of the other things I could share with people who are listening is make sure that you're on the same page geographically.
Right.
I was raised in a tenement in Brooklyn. He was raised at the beach. So he ended up at the beach, and I ended up in a building with a doorman, but
Right.
it's still a tenement if you
Right.
think about it.
Right.
And that's how we ended up. If you don't want to live in the same place, you really shouldn't be married to each other.
I agree. By the way, a lot of listeners hate that I say right all the time, but I'm so
How about
into
the bell? They enjoy that?
Yeah, they love the bell. They hate when I say right. So you meet Steve
Yeah.
immediately.
No, it was about a year later.
And you get married. Get married. You start dating in 1982.
Yeah.
So a year after, how did you meet him?
I met him at a singles resort called Sukasa, which is this place up in Woodstock, which is an adult only. And there were, was part nude, people nude around there.
No way.
Yeah, he was nude. I saw him.
Wait. You're at this resort.
Yeah.
And you see a naked guy.
He was standing at the pool with his friend Neil, bare-assed. And I was with my other friends. And
Were you bare-assed?
No, never. You know what
Okay.
I say? For a man to see me naked, I have to be in his will. So, no, I was not naked. He was, but far away. I was not interested in anybody at this place.
Okay.
It was like, one of my friends was like, they're glomming on me. I can't stand it.
Fuck her.
That night, well, the guys were annoying. So that night, there's an activity, and this is the kind of place it was. People are watching A Knife in the Water by Roman Polanski. This is the type of place it was.
Go ahead.
Jew and child molester.
Right.
Not good for the Jews.
No,
Sorry.
Epstein. Go.
But most child molesters are just heterosexual males. They don't have to be any
I
particular
know.
group.
But
yeah.
they hate the gays. So wait. So you go to the.
We're watching
Roman
Knife in
Polanski-
the Water. And I see him standing there, fully clothed, thank God. And I sort of remember
So
him.
you didn't see the penis before. You only.
It
saw
was
the
from
ass.
far away.
Okay.
But, far away, I was impressed anyway. So I stand next to him, again, in my mode of pursuing the man, which is a mistake. But I learned from the first time, don't be pursuing too hard. I just stood there and was watching the thing. He was standing next to me. I thought he was cute. I said, what's going on in this movie? And that started the whole thing. See, but then I didn't pursue. He pursued me, like a crazy person.
Really?
Calling me all the time, yes.
Like, did you do anything while you were at the resort?
I'm not discussing that.
So you don't live with Steve. So
For years, we didn't.
years.
For
Same.
years.
Elisa and I don't live together.
No,
and
that's
and I
smart.
think of you. You've given me some amazing advice.
Like what else?
Breastfeed.
Right.
You made me breastfeed.
Yeah. Did I? Why? What did I tell you?
You said you're breastfeeding.
Why did I tell you to do that?
You said
It's good for the baby.
Right.
And it's good for you.
Right. And
you'll never catch a cold from the baby. The kid will catch from you. No, I mean the kid will never catch from you. But
let
you
me
will
tell you, that immune system, he never gets sick.
From you.
Ever. Yes. Ben.
Yeah, good for him.
So yeah, you were helpful.
So what else did I tell you?
Oh, you've told me a million. You always
don't live with them.
You've helped me in my career, just be like, oh, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them.
Right, give you advice.
Keep doing what you're doing.
You're funny.
Yeah.
I always told you were funny.
Yes. And you don't tell a lot of people they're funny, which makes me very happy. Okay.
I laugh easily, though, at comedy. You know, who do I think is funny? Dom Herrera.
Dom Herrera. I know I fucked it up.
And Mario, too. Two Italian.
They both make me pee in my pants.
They're both hilarious, not
Kevin
Jewish.
Meaney made me laugh.
Meaney, not Jewish.
Right.
I'm just saying, because
I know.
most of the funny people that I remember from a child were Jewish. Toady Fields, Joan Rivers.
Toady Fields, Joan Rivers.
A woman named Jean Carroll.
I love Jean
Hilarious,
Carroll.
Yeah.
I loved
Robert
her.
Klein was my major idol.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The other funny people, I never found George Carlin as funny, but I enjoyed him.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah.
Also, Sophie Tucker, Frances Faye.
I'm not that old. I don't remember these people.
Okay, whatever. My parents were old. So you meet Steve, but you don't live together.
No.
But he lives
In the Bronx.
in the Bronx.
In Riverdale.
And you start doing stand-up while...
Oh, when I first met him, I was doing it already.
And he often came to your shows with you.
No, I did not allow him to come for a long time. I didn't.
When I knew you,
for a whole year, I did not tell him I was doing stand-up because I didn't want him to lose his erection. Because when
if anyone wouldn't lose,
it's Steve. I didn't know that at the time. I mean, I was saying that literally, but I wanted him to think of me as demure and shy and unassuming.
So most people do think of you. Yeah.
Well, when I was with him, I was like that.
Right.
That's
so
all
funny.
cutesy.
Right.
And then I'd get on stage and I'd be like the biggest ball buster. So I was afraid for him to see that he would turn on me. So then one time I was in the Village and with my girlfriend, with him and my friend Leslie, and this woman came over to me and she said, "Aren't you? Didn't I see you perform? You were very funny the other night somewhere." I said, "Oh, you must be mistaken. I don't know what you're talking about." And she left. And Leslie said, "Now you're starting to lie to him."
Oh yeah.
So then I had to tell him.
What did he say?
Really? I want to come see you.
See, he's the greatest
I know.
guy.
He is. I said,
he's the greatest.
I said, I don't know.
And he's so fucking smart.
And then I took him to one gig where I had to perform. I was getting like $750.
Wow,
My God.
that's good.
Well, this is previous to that. $50 was the most I could ever make.
Oh, same.
So now I'm making $750 for one night, performing for doctors, and they're the worst. They were no, these were not even Jewish doctors because there were priests there as well.
Oh. The worst audience, when you go to them, it's the worst.
They are the worst audience unless you're talking about them. So I only had a couple of jokes about them, and then I had to stand up there and die like a dog, which I did. And then after I was finished, Steve said to me, "You were funny. They were a bad audience."
Right.
I said, I have to keep this guy.
He's the best.
I know. So that's why I don't let him go.
Are you working during the day and
At
doing
this point,
stand-up
no.
at night?
At this point, I got fired from Good Morning America. They were very nice about it. They said, "Get out." And I said, "Listen, I'm a single mother. I have nothing. I have no husband. I just had a near-death experience. I need the job."
What was your near-death?
Oh, I had an ectopic pregnancy where I almost
that's
died.
right.
And so they fired me anyway. They fired me
So
anyway.
nice.
And I went on unemployment insurance, which is one of the great things of this country.
Oh.
And it saved my life. Unemployment
so
insurance.
that's an example
of good government.
Right. So you start doing stand-up. Eve is how old?
12. She's
Is
12.
she like, "Mommy, don't do stand-up"?
No. She never paid any attention to my career whatsoever. She has zero interest in it.
And did she care that you were out at night or?
Well, I'd have her. My mother would come over and help her. But I would do stand up all over as much as I could. I had Ruth Stern booking me.
I was just going to talk about
God
her.
bless her, because I would never go on the road because I was raising a kid.
Yeah.
And she would get me gigs in every Jewish country club in the
Every
tri-state
country club.
area.
And this is the Ruth Stern story, everyone. She's a legend. Every time you called her and she would say, I got a gig for you. It's at the Brayburn Country Club. And and she, $1,000, and I'm like, oh, well, because that wasn't a lot of money for doing
that was
those.
a lot for me.
Well,
I didn't
all
make
right, so she'd say, I'm just making it up. So she'd say $500 or $200, and I'd be like, $200, that's nothing. And she'd say, well, I called them up. I called Brayburn. I said, Judy Gold. They said, who? That's who?
So that's what happened.
Yeah, she used to do that. And she used to have to drive her. She would eat with the food spitting out of her mouth.
Well,
she got me into the Friars Club, though.
Yeah, she was good in certain ways.
Yeah.
So I appreciated her because even though she was one of the most annoying people.
And her husband.
She'd have a bad meal, like that didn't say so. She'd go, here, Paul, you eat this.
Paul, oh my God, he didn't say a fucking word.
No, when she died, he fell apart.
Yeah. So you're pretty successful doing.
Well, I was doing that, and I was making some money.
Yeah, but because I ended up having to go on the fucking road. I hated it so much.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get like a half an hour on stage or so. But you, Mario, and Susie never really had to go suffer in these condos.
No, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't do it because we appealed to this country club crowd.
Right.
And I could do those gigs. I don't know why you didn't.
Well, I don't know why I didn't do a lot of things because look at me. Okay.
No, I don't understand why you wouldn't appeal to a Jewish audience at these country clubs.
I don't know. I did, but you guys were getting all the gigs, and
Well, there was plenty of work in those days for that. She didn't like you, I don't think. Ruth.
Really?
She probably didn't. She probably thought you weren't appropriate for her room. That's what that was about.
What did I do that was wrong? I talked about my mother.
I don't know. I have no idea what the reason is.
Fuck you, Ruth. But then I ended up,
she's dead. All I'm saying is that if you worked in her room, she booked you. If she thought that you would not work, that was it for you.
Wow.
She gave some jobs to Corey Kahaney, I think. Yeah.
So, I was loud.
This bell is the most annoying. I've never done a podcast more annoying than this.
I'll stop. Your first break, you're at Catch. Then you get a show on Lifetime called Way Off Broadway.
Yes. It went one season, and it was a great show.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Larry David was one of my writers. Okay. Larry David. Okay. Yes. He used to come to my apartment every night, and we'd work out a stand-up set.
OMG.
Yeah.
And that was
1987.
And that was was that your big break, your first big break?
Yeah.
And then you get a show live from Queens.
Oh, that wasn't my show. That was Sissy Biggers.
Yeah, and you were one of the regulars.
I would come in once in a while, but she never let me talk. Sissy Biggers. She would keep that. She was like Kellyanne Conway. Never a period did she meet.
Right.
And then my shrink. I went to the shrink, and I said, I don't know what to do. She said, interrupt her. Oh, I said a light went off.
I need this shrink.
So I interrupted her, and later she thanked me. She said she didn't. The reason the girl didn't stop talking is because she wasn't sure I would pick it up.
See?
Yeah. So
that's what happens when you don't communicate.
That's right. But she was nice enough to have me on a lot. She's a nice girl.
Right.
And then that was over. And then I did some other show, a couple of other things.
You did a one-night stand on HBO.
Oh, yeah.
You did Women of the Night on HBO. You were a regular on NBC's Baby Boom.
Yes, I played a German nanny.
Right.
And no one, but my father, you know what I looked like? I looked just like the shrink I was saying. Had braids around my head, no makeup, and a white uniform. So my father.
Your shrink didn't wear a uniform.
No, but I was the nanny. So my father goes to his club, the Bugs AC. That was the name of the club, the Bugs AC. He goes to the Bugs AC to watch me because they had a TV he liked. He comes home and he says to my mother, she wasn't in it because he didn't even recognize me. The man didn't even recognize my voice. My father did not recognize my voice.
Are you kidding?
Women at Loman's are recognizing my voice, but not my father.
Ridiculous. Okay, so then do you get the WABC job right after that?
Oh, the radio show?
The talk show.
I got the radio show, I believe, in 90 or 91. I did a couple of pilots in between. That didn't go anywhere. I got the radio.
But you were hot. Everyone knew you. Everyone knew you in New York. I was going to say Barbara Streisand. Barbara Walters didn't know me. Right. I wanted to get to the story.
But people in New York knew me from the radio show. You know, I could sell out rooms when I was on a radio show, easier than when I was on television.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, people just wanted to see what I looked like, I think.
And you were so funny.
I
One
had
time I called and you yelled at me, though.
I did? Why?
Yeah, you're like, what's your point? And I'm like, okay, sorry.
What, did you identify yourself?
Yeah, I said, hi, it's Judy Gold. Hi, Judy. You were in some mood. And I said,
I still had my period.
yeah, and you said, I don't understand your point. Bye.
No, I did not.
You did something. And I was like, crushed.
I can't believe that you were upset.
Oh, my God. I'm so sensitive.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes. Oh,
Shall I tell them a story you did to me?
Oh, this is the worst. But I was so young. Okay.
So her father dies.
I'm 27.
She's 27.
Sitting at the bar.
In the bar couch, and she says to me, I'm so young and you're so old.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. And you said, why does my father have to die? And yours didn't. I said, well, he will soon.
I didn't say it like that.
Yeah, you did. I'm so young and you're so old. How come my father's
I was
dead?
Probably,
she said that to me.
I was in mourning, probably.
Okay, fine. Well, the day
I'm sorry.
the way
I'm
I
sorry.
yelled at you on the radio,
I'm sorry.
I had my
I'm sorry.
period that day.
I'm sorry.
All right, you're welcome.
I'm forgiven or welcome?
You're forgiven.
Oh,
I forgave you that day.
I remember because I couldn't believe, because I was at the point where I was like, wait, all of my friends have their parents. You know, I mean,
You were young.
27 is young, but it's not like 13.
no, it's
but-
still young to lose a parent.
right, and it was like that, and
you liked your father.
I love.
Did you like him better than you liked your mother? Truth.
You know, I can't probably, but I can't, father, but I don't remember so much. I didn't really get to. I wasn't fully developed.
Yeah.
And I realized all these things I would love. And all my cousins are going through pictures and they always send me these photos. And in every family photo, I'm sitting with my father. I'm next to my father.
Yeah.
And I just realized, I think I blocked a lot
Was he taller than you?
He was 6'2", and then I don't know. I think I was a little taller than him.
I give advice to people who are listening who are younger. Always ask your parents questions because after they're dead, you want to ask the questions. Nobody there to
Yeah, I
answer.
did that with my mother in the nursing
Yeah,
home.
there's
I
a lot
prayed.
of questions to ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're on the radio.
Yeah.
I am mad that my father's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have one that you said to me after I had
What?
Ben.
What did I say?
You don't remember, everyone was saying this because, Henry's adopted. My ex Sharon had Henry.
Right.
I adopted him.
Right.
I had Ben.
Right.
And we came over some,
To my house.
yes.
Oh, you were fighting with Sharon.
What?
Yeah,
So
constantly.
we never, constant.
Oh
it was
my
awful.
God! They
It
came
was
to my house. They did not stop fighting.
I couldn't
with each
take
other.
it.
I told you to stop it.
Yeah. You said, you
What
have
did I
to
say?
stop. You said, you said you have to stop fighting. But so anyway, we break up.
What else did I say? It sounds like I said something worse.
Yeah, this is not unacceptable.
This is unacceptable in my house.
And so, and then after Ben
Remember
was
when Rosie O'Donnell came to my house for dinner and you were there with Mario and Susie?
Mhm.
She brought her own beer.
Oh
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember after Ben, I brought Ben over and you said, all right, which one do you love better? Love more? And I said, I love them exactly the same. And
Yeah.
you're like, come on, Judy. I said, no, I do. And you said, all right, they're both drowning. Who do you save?
Oh my God, Sophie's choice.
And I said, well, Henry knows how to swim, so
that's how you got out of it.
yeah,
Yeah, but you love them both.
I do.
You do.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
they're
both of
lovely
them.
children.
Oh, thank you,
They
Joy.
are.
That means a lot.
Very nice.
I'm gonna cry. So you do.
No, you did a good job. You really had, it's not easy to be
Right, I had
a single parent and to be a comedian at the same time. I mean,
yeah.
and they're not crazy like you. They have like a sanity about them, which is unbelievable.
Henry's a little. No, they're good. You did a benefit. And Barbara Walters was there. Is that what happened?
Well, in those days, you had to be seen,
Right.
And you hope that somebody.
No videotaping.
So I would never. One of the mistakes. Alan Alda once told me that one of the mistakes I made, not Jewish.
But his wife is, and his kids are. Okay, go ahead.
Boy, you're really stretching now. How about people who just think they're Jewish?
Right.
So he said to me, I told him that I never would I'd have a set coming up, and I'd never invite important people to come because I never thought it would be good enough. And that was a huge mistake I made because I would always kill those nights. And then afterward, I'd say, what a fool I am.
right.
I should have had,
Yep.
the Brillstein here that night and what have you. Right. So,
But for the
so
listener-
what would
yeah.
happen is instead I'd be asked to do benefits. So then I didn't have to worry because important people would just be there anyway without me calling them. You get it? So this was one of those evenings, and it was at the Waldorf Astoria, and it was Milton Berle's 89th birthday, right? And Barbara Walters was in the audience, Regis Philbin, no, and other luminaries. It was like the TCM crowd, like what's her name? Not Esther Williams, some other people like that.
Right.
Rhonda Fleming, I don't
Yes,
know.
yes.
And they were all in the audience. And I got up and I did a set and I did this joke about how men will always find a wife, no matter how hideous they are, no matter how old, no matter how stupid. Take the case of Salman Rushdie. Now, he's not stupid and he wasn't hideous, but he was in hiding for several 10 years.
joke.
And he got married 3 times while he was in hiding. It's like, who came to the door? The Avon lady? I mean, who did he marry? Etc. And this whole bit around that idea. I get off the stage. Everybody's laughing. I said to Steve, how did I do? He says, everybody was laughing except Barbara Walters.
No way.
Right. So I said to him, who cares? No, I'm not going to work for Barbara Walters. The moral of the story is you never know.
But that's where she saw you, and from that hired you.
She said to Regis Philbin, who was that woman? And Regis said, that's Joy Behar. Don't you know her? He knew me. I never heard of her. Well, she was busy, entertaining Henry Kissinger. What does she know from me?
Right.
It's amazing how many people are Jewish.
That's why
They're
I
like
do it.
It's like a very small percentage in the world, and yet in this room,
0.02%.
it's 90%.
Isn't it? It's amazing. That's why I do it.
I hope your audience appreciates
They
this.
do.
All right.
They bring bells to my show.
Do they?
Yes.
How irritating. So, oh my God. You're worried about them looking at their phones and you don't mind them ringing bells in the middle of your show?
Bring them bells.
Oh, God. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So then Bill Getty was looking for, people to be on the show. Somebody called, recommended me. She said, I like her. They tested me and I got the job.
It's amazing.
That's what happened. And here 22 years later.
And let me tell
I'm still on the
many
show.
times I did stand up on The View when I was allowed to go
In
on.
Comedy Central Corner.
And everyone was laughing, and she would stone face.
She doesn't laugh, but she
and then would say to me, "Very funny."
Yeah, yeah.
And then would ask me about your kids and and I was like, "Oh, she was
interested."
Yeah.
Well, she's like the people who like when one time I auditioned for Saturday Night Live in 1975.
What?
You never heard this story? Didn't you see my solo show?
Yes.
Okay. You want to hear something about that funny solo show I did? I did it down at the Cherry Lane Theater,
Yes.
right? People were howling and laughing, etc. On opening night, I invited a lot of people I knew, famous people were some of them. That was the night I did. And fine, it's over. So like 6 months later, I do the same show at Guildhall in East Hampton. Many of the people who were there opening night were there that night. After the show, they had a big party for me at Alan Grubman's house. And there was a guy there who was a Supreme Court justice. I think it was Kennedy. He was there, or one of those. Breyer. Justice Breyer was there, laughing, hysterical. And they said to me, this is a whole new show, isn't it? It was not a whole new show. It was the same show. And I've come to the conclusion that when people are laughing that much, they do not remember anything.
But they also miss a lot.
They miss everything. They thought it was another show.
That's great.
All those years I was saying, I can't repeat this material. What a fool I was. I could have done the same fucking act every night. They would have thought it was a different act.
But you can't do it on television now.
No, not on TV.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
yeah.
where were we?
75, you auditioned for SNL.
Oh, it's SNL, right.
I think I remember the story, yeah.
Well, I don't want to go into a whole long story.
Right, but just tell
My
me.
friend Jane and I would write comedy material together. And we came up with a character called Sadie Catalano, who would give news in the neighborhood. So she would say, like, only a hail of bullets marred the festivities as wedding bells rang. Or a former bodyguard, Carmine Russo, has become a faith healer. There isn't a cripple left in the neighborhood since he's been pronouncing his miraculous words, walk or I'll break both your legs. Okay, so we had bits like that. So I said to her one day, now we're both like teacher housewives, and we're in Forest Hills. And I say to her, why don't we call up Saturday Night Live and see if we can get this bit on that show? It was the first year. She says, okay, like we're two idiots, like Laverne and Shirley. I pick up the phone. I call NBC, which you can easily get through the board there. And I say, can I speak to John Head? Because I saw that his name, the talent coordinator's name was John Head, which is a double whammy.
Right.
I say, can I speak to John Head? They go, yes. They put me through to John Head.
Unbelievable.
He picks up the phone. I say, hello, Mr. Head. My name's Joy Behar. And I said, and let me do the bit for you. He said, well, let me hear it. I say, okay, I do the bit. It's very funny. Would you come in? I'd like to talk to you. And I got so close to being on Saturday Night Live because of that phone call, but I never made it. Every week I'd be on the board, right? The first week,
right?
They said, well, Madeline Kahn is hosting, and she needs to be. We don't have any room for you. She wants to be the funny one anyway. Fine. They had Gilda Radner. They didn't need me. Second week, Raquel Welch is hosting, and she has to be the pretty one and the funny one. I said, well, who's posting next week? Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is going to be the funny one and the pretty one? I never got on the fucking show because of all these other divas who preceded me.
Well, of course, people don't want to be upstage.
And then Gilda Radner wanted to buy the material, which I said no.
Oh, do you wish you had?
No, I used that material.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So I kept doing it. And after that, I just kept going along.
It's amazing.
But that was in 75. Remember, I didn't get fired from GMA till 1981.
Wow.
I was not even a comic until 1981.
It's amazing that it was always there, that you always knew it was there.
Well, from when I was a child, yeah.
You start The View in 97.
This is the longest interview
But
I've
isn't
ever
it
done.
fun?
I feel like I'm going into a second menopause here.
Please, are you having a bad time?
No, it's exhausting.
Okay, sorry. We'll end soon. So you start The View in 1997. I remember watching it because I was working at Rosie, and we were all watching it on the.
Yeah.
And it was like no other show before.
In what way?
In that, first of all, female heavy.
Yeah, Barbara.
Right.
That was the key.
And it was successful women with opinions.
Well, we all were educated and successful in our careers, all of us already. Star Jones was a lawyer. She told you every day. Meredith Vieira had already been on 60 Minutes.
Right.
Barbara was Barbara. And Debbie Matenopoulos was, they called the young one, and she was coming up in her career. And there was me, who had been a teacher. So we all were, we had, and I was highly opinionated, and so was Star, and so was Debbie. But Meredith was not, because she was trained to be more of a journalist. And Barbara never gave her opinion.
Did you know it was going to be the hit?
No, because Barbara had to go station to station to keep it on the air.
For how long?
Oh, I don't know.
Years?
Long time. Because they didn't pick it up right away all over the place. And we didn't know that because it was a network show. It's like, what do you mean they're not doing it every single place?
Oh, so it was syndicated. Yeah. So
it wasn't syndicated.
Oh,
No, it was network.
It was a network show. Wouldn't they have to put it on those?
That's what we thought, but that's not so.
Wow.
Yeah, so she went around and she kept it on the air for a while. Without her, I don't think it would have stayed on the air.
Star Jones and you, very friendly.
Star Jones and I were the thing about Star, she had her issues, but she knew how to have a good time, that girl.
Really?
She did. She could have fun.
And
she's changed her life.
Yeah, she called you a bitch on the show.
She did?
Yeah.
Well, they all call me a bitch. I don't mind.
Because she called.
I don't care.
But she called up once.
Oh, yeah. I said, all
right, enough about
she called in because she had some kind of procedure.
Right.
And on and on and on the phone. And I said, all right, enough about you. Back to us. She says, okay, you bitch.
And if you look at it in the, if you read about it, it's like, Star Jones called it.
Well, Meghan McCain called me a bitch recently, and I didn't care about that either because the word is out. We own that word.
Right.
We own the word, yeah.
We own the word.
And I don't care. I don't mind.
You have gone through many co-hosts, and you're the one who has lasted the longest.
Well, I was fired a few years ago.
Right. But they didn't say you were fired, of course.
Well, no, at the time I thought, why burn a bridge? Why burn a bridge?
I always think that.
I thought I'll just go out gracefully because I was happy that they let me go. I was happy.
Do you know why they let you go?
I don't know the real reason. I have suspicions, but I don't know the real reason.
Because you had another show. You had an HLN show.
I had another show. My favorite. I know everybody loved that show.
The best show ever. I was so happy.
I know.
Every time I got on. And you let me co-host. You let me host for you once.
To this day, I regret that I could not keep that show on the air. We were the second highest rated show on the network.
It was.
And they took us off. I think that was a political thing, maybe, because they didn't like how I talked about Republicans. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. This show, I don't know why I was fired, but I've been through many guest hosts here. Yeah, but to just the point of why did I not say I was fired at the time? Well, you know, I had a nice send off.
I think that was the greatest thing.
I had Alan
And
Alda,
you know what's
Regis
amazing?
Philbin, Joan Rivers came to my send off. You know, so we had like a wonderful
They did
goodbye.
a This Is
Tony
Your
Bennett.
Life
Tony
thing.
Bennett sang. Well, you know, why should I be bitter and angry? I wanted to get off the show at that time anyway.
So and I know, because I remember you're like, I want to write. I want to.
I had other things to do, and I had 2 years off where I came up with a solo show.
I know, great.
And I did other things that I liked.
When they asked you back,
Yeah.
was there any bit of like, oh, fuck you?
No. The woman who asked me, it was a whole new administration.
The new woman, yeah.
Hillary McLaughlin.
Yeah. Hillary
S.G. McLaughlin.
Yes.
She called me up. I was walking around Provincetown looking for a transgender show. Seriously. Or not transgender, what do you call it? A drag show.
Right.
Because I like those. They're fun.
Why didn't you come see me?
Well,
I don't think I was in
You
town,
weren't there.
yeah.
I would have gone to see you, of course. But I was looking for a drag show because I think they're funny and fun. And I couldn't find it. All I saw were tourists in polyester pantsuits there. What happened
What
happened to Provincetown?
This is what happened. We wanted equality, and now everyone is coming. It's like you have Wellfleet, you have Hyannis, you have
Truro.
Sandwich, Truro.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck. And now, so there's a pier there where they had a naval ship in World War II because there's one area that's so deep, and they now have cruise ships come for the day.
Yeah.
It's
oh,
horrible.
my God.
It's
That's
horrible.
terrible.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
They changed.
Right.
And anyway, I was walking along the street, and I get a call on my cell phone from Hillary asking me if I would like to come back to The View just on Friday, because now the show is going to be live on Friday. Whoopi did not want to work on Friday. I would moderate. I said, okay, just for Friday. And then slowly...
Joy,
you know.
the show, you're so much of,
Well, I am like the person who's been there the most recognizable besides Whoopi, so they know me.
When they imitated you, which I think.
So what? Who cares?
No, when they imitated you on SNL,
Yeah.
I was felling because, that you've arrived.
You've arrived.
When they
make fun of you.
on SNL. It's
Yeah.
like you are the zeitgeist.
I guess. I never took it like that, but yeah.
I
thought it was-
I remember you're like, no, she didn't do this right and she didn't do that. But I was like, oh my, I was so happy for you. This fucking idiot in the White House.
Yeah.
He wants them off the air.
Oh, please.
What was the most, in your opinion, dramatic joy event on The View? I mean, you've gotten up and left.
That was it. I would say walking off the stage of when Bill O'Reilly was here I physically protested his presence. You can't really beat that for drama.
And you got.
Well, Barbara, and then Whoopi followed me out.
Yeah.
And, but he was just saying that all Muslims are terrorists. And I couldn't argue. I tried to argue. No, he kept insisting. I couldn't sit there. I was like, I don't want to sit here with him. It's skeevy to me.
Right.
So I got up, and Whoopi followed me off. And Barbara didn't like that. She felt we should have sat there. But then the publicity came in, and then she liked it.
It's amazing how any kind of publicity.
Well, that was a big moment. They still, I mean, look at how great it is. He's not there anymore.
I know, isn't that
one of the
amazing?
worst fascists in television? He's gone. Same, Roger Ailes dead. I mean, things do change.
Do you think these awful people? There's plenty of awful people in our that are running this country.
Right.
Are going to have their day.
No, I don't. I mean, I know too much about World War II and Hitler to think that there's anything such as karma. There is no such thing. Did you ever see the movie Downfall with Bruno Ganz playing Hitler? It's about Hitler's last weeks in the bunker. He's down there and, he kills himself, and it's painless for him. First, he gives the cyanide to the dog that he supposedly loves, make sure that it works. And then he and Eva Braun take the cyanide and shoot each other. And that's the end of it. He never suffered a day. There's no karma.
What's the name of the movie?
Downfall.
I'm going to watch that.
It's in German, I'm warning you, but it's very well worth it.
That's my favorite language.
So I know a lot about bad people because I watch a lot of television about that period. and they do not necessarily suffer. They never found half these Nazis they die at 97 and then they find them. They've been living, in South America, enjoying
amazing.
enjoying paella down there. Get the fuck out of here. There's no such thing as karma.
I have to say, you have been, and Joan Rivers was like this, but you are one of the very pro LGBT.
I am.
I'm
a feminist.
And you're the true, no, but you are the true, meaning you are a feminist. I mean, I feel like they're taking the word and making it like a feminist is someone who, can get on stage and talk about, blowjobs and this. Yeah,
that's what they think a feminist is.
Right. And a feminist is not that at all, but
what is it exactly? Do you think?
If you believe in equality for everyone,
yes,
everyone,
that's right.
That this is enough. That I don't have to put on makeup for you.
Right.
I am good enough as I am.
That's right.
That everyone's a human being.
I agree. I think
equal.
that's true.
So
makes you a humanist.
Yes, you have been so. I just have to say, for the community, there's so many gay guys that come up to me. I love Joy. I love Joy. You have been such a voice for equality, and I just want to say I really appreciate.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think that the gay community has had a rough time from when I was a kid, and there were gay men who were married to women in my neighborhood, and I saw that they suffered.
It's horrible.
It's
and
terrible.
And lesbians.
And lesbians also.
I think that's affected my career. I came
that
out.
You're a lesbian?
Yeah,
not anymore though. Now
right, but I came out in 96.
It might have hurt you, but I think it's chic now more, isn't it?
Right, but it's chic for the young lesbians. Now I'm an old. Don't you think?
Well, timing is everything in life, Judy. Yes. Unfortunately,
it's very hard.
What are your regrets?
My regrets?
Yeah,
I regret ever listening to anyone tell me to straighten my hair, dye it blonde, not talk about being Jewish on stage. I regret.
You got bad advice.
Yeah. I regret wasting time being anxious and hating myself and thinking and giving power to other people who said something about me.
Right.
You're this. And for me to waste time
on that. I agree with that. Yeah, but good for you.
That's what I really, if I could have the time back from.
As you get older, this is so sentimental now, but when you get older, you realize that this cliche that life is short. It really is. It's over before you can turn around.
I know.
So you have to really enjoy it the most you can.
I know, but I just want one big break, Joy. One.
Well, the thing about you, Judy, is that you can get the one big break, but you have an interesting career because you still love it.
I know.
You could get that one big break and then start to hate it.
No, I just want the money. I just don't want to never have to worry about money.
I understand that, but that's part of the journey.
Yeah.
And
it's been a long journey, Joy.
I know that. But I sort of envy you that you still love it.
Really?
Yeah, the stand-up, because I don't anymore. I might get back to it, though. There's a possibility. Like
I'll do a show with you.
If I wasn't, now the only thing, what interested me? This little room at the.
I knew. I could see it. But there's a bunch of rooms like that.
I don't mind doing small little rooms and having fun with that. Yeah. Just getting up but I'm so obsessed with Trump right now and my job
that you feel like
I can't do anything but that. It's not funny to me.
Right. So many people say,
funny.
"Oh, isn't he good for your material?"
No,
I guarantee you, every comedian who's not right wing would give up talking about him.
You know who was funny? George W. Bush. George W. Bush, there was material. No, but there was material about him.
Right.
This guy is so dangerous and so tricky for all of us, so lethal in what he's doing to this country that I can't find it in myself to laugh half the time.
I'm scared.
Right.
But also, this is the only time where someone who is pro-Trump, if you say one thing, they'll either leave or they won't laugh at anything else you say. But it was never like that. Every president was fair game.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like in your act, if you say something against Trump, they walk out.
And I'm like, you know
they
what?
walk out?
So I tell them, I said, you know what? Because I did something about Sarah Fuckabee Fuckface and something about Trump, and this guy's like, say something, and they were laughing, and he's like, say something funny. I go, actually, I just did, which is why everyone's laughing. And if you don't like it, you know, you can get up and leave, enjoy your cult. And he stayed. But it's a cult.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we leave, by the way, I have 2 more questions. FYI, Joy is an author. She has written 5 books. The Great Gas Bag, an A to Z study guide to surviving Trump.
Which is
world,
still available
which is
on
still
Amazon.
available. Shih Tzu Cockapoo 2 and Shih Tzu Cockapoo, which one is my kind of dog, the original one. Shih Tzu Cockapoo is my kind of dog. And Shih Tzu Cockapoo 2, Max Goes to the Dogs. These are children's books.
Yes.
Joystick, or What is the Existential Vacuum and Does it Come with Attachments? 1999. And When You Need a Lift but Don't Want to Eat Chocolate, Pay a Shrink or Drink a Bottle of Gin, 2007. So these are all books you can get that are fucking great that Joy has
Some
written.
of them are better than others.
Okay, whatever. So I first of all, I can't thank you enough.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Anytime, Judy.
You're the best. This is what we ask, but I think we know the answer. We always ask, we're very pro mental health because I've gone through clinical depression. And so have you ever been on antidepressants?
No.
Really?
No, never.
Just shrinkage.
Shrink. Talking cure.
Oh, and by the way, I take trazodone because of you.
Well, trazodone I was taking when I was having hot flashes and I couldn't sleep. But I still can't sleep. But now I don't take anything. I just don't sleep.
Let me tell you, the CBD oil with the melatonin.
Yeah, that works?
Out.
Where do you get it?
You can get it online. It's CBD oil, so it's like
Is that marijuana?
But not without THC.
Is it safe?
Yeah, it's all organic and melatonin.
Melatonin doesn't really work.
But I'm addicted to fucking trazodone because of you. And then this is, it's called Kill Me Now because I'm always saying Kill Me Now because I fucking can't stand.
Right.
What pisses you off more than anything? Like what thing about people or anything makes you fucking crazy? It could be.
I think stupidity.
Yeah.
I can't stand stupid.
I can't.
I hate stupid. I ran into a guy, King Cullen, twice now. The guy comes over to me. Why do you not like Trump? And I give him 3 reasons. And he says, well, Hillary lied to. And I say, it's too stupid. I can't talk to you anymore now. And I walk away from him.
What are the 3 reasons?
Why I hate Trump?
Because
he's destroying the environment. He divides races, and he's a pathological liar, and he's making money on the presidency.
Yes.
If I had to say 4 things, those are the 4.
He is the most divisive.
And when you say he's a liar, they go, well, all presidents lie. Not like this, not every day, not every minute, and not about important things.
Right.
Come on.
Are you scared about what's happening?
I feel a little more hopeful lately because I was saying on the air today that the white blue collar women who are non-college educated, who are mostly my cousins, they are now turning on him a little.
Good.
Yes. His what do you call it? Favorability went down 15% among those women. That's very important because he's such a sexist. He grabs women by the pussy and people still like him.
And he's such a hypocrite.
Oh, I can't stand him.
can't.
I know him very well. I went to his wedding to Marla.
You did?
I was at his wedding. Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell was there.
Yes.
Can you imagine? The 2 women who hate him the most were at his wedding.
I feel bad for Rosie.
Why?
Because I just feel bad. She's watching a debate and just sitting at home watching a presidential debate, and he says, Megyn Kelly says, you call women this, and he says,
no, yeah.
I mean, for her kids to hear that.
From the next president.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Horrible. I love you.
But you know what? As FDR once famously said, I dated him. He said, I welcome the hate. I welcome the hate because he was getting a lot of shit for what he was the first socialist president. You realize that? And, if you want to call it that, if you want to call Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, unemployment insurance, socialist programs, which we all have, then he was the one who did it.
And so many of these Republicans' parents were on the GI Bill.
Right.
They would have nothing.
They've been trying. The Republican Party has been trying to undo FDR's and the Great Society since LBJ. They have been trying to undo it. They don't like it. They don't want it. Mm-hmm. They want everybody out there on their own, and it's not healthy. Some people can't do it.
Right.
Some people can't make it.
And unless it's them, it's like when Dick Cheney's daughter came out as lesbian, all of a sudden he's pro-gay marriage.
Nancy Reagan became pro stem cell research after Ronnie get Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So, it's got to be personal with them.
Yeah.
Then they're happy.
Well, you make me happy, Joy.
And you make me happy. And you make Elise happy.
Elisa.
Oh, it's
I know, it's annoying. I can't.
Elise, Kristen, Kirsten. How am I going to remember
I
this?
know. It's all right. It's all right.
Lori, Laura.
Yeah, that's true.
Stick to the one
You're right.
thing.
Josephine, Joy.
No, and Kirsten and Kristen. It's like, how am I
know.
supposed to know the difference?
Brianna. I can't. Is that Brittany and Anna? I can't. All right.
How about that? There's Jason and Joshua is another group.
Oh.
And Jeremy.
And Jesse. And it could be a girl or a boy, or there's.
I think that the Duggars had all J's, didn't they?
Yes, they did. All of them J's for Jesus.
Well, after was it for Jesus?
Yes,
oh yeah,
for
that's
Jesus.
right. That's right. That's what it was for. She should have named the last one Jesus Christ. How many more am I going to have?
Some of those are gay. Some of those kids.
If Jesus ever came back, he would be shocked at what the evangelicals are doing in this country, and so-called Christians like Jerry Falwell Jr. He would that man would have a heart attack.
I agree.
Thank you so much for listening to my interview with Joy Behar. Kill Me Now is produced by Laura Vogel. It is edited by Colin Schmaling. And nothing in my life would be possible without the help, assistance of the amazing Brittany Jo Sowards Richmond. So please follow me on the socials at Judy Gold, JEWDYGOLD. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facecock, even though the poster for my show is deemed inappropriate for Facecock. But you can spread conspiracy theories and write, racist, anti-Semitic, anti-LGBTQ, like homophobic and, anti-Asian shit all over Facebook. But you can't show someone with a ball gag in their mouth because that's offensive. So that's that. What else? So follow me on all those. I couldn't switch to the other platforms because I just can't deal with it. I can't understand it. I know I hate Twitter and I hate Elon Musk, but there's people I love, like Rachel Vindman. I love her. There's people who I just, Molly Young Fast, I just love and I need to follow. So whatever. Please come see my show, 59E59. Theater A on 59 East 59th Street. You're gonna fucking love it. I don't know what else I have coming up. This is what I'll be doing until April 16th. And that's it. I would like to say for the people who are listening to the end, I am making a decision about the podcast, but I think I'm going to keep doing it. I might be focusing more on other things, but I love you. I love all my listeners, and especially the ones who listen to the end. And people keep coming up to me and saying, I love your podcast. And then I'm like, oh, I can't. So I want to just say thank you to everyone who listens to the end. I'm thinking about you. Well, the 4 people who do it. And I don't know what else to tell you. I just really appreciate it. Buy my book. It's more important than ever now. Yes, I can say that. And then review it. And review the podcast. Please review the podcast because I need 5 stars. And that way I can get, some advertisers and keep doing this so that, I don't keep paying out of my fucking pocket for you people. Labor of love. So please review it and leave me a great review. That would be fantastic. And I don't know what else to tell you, but, thank God it's staying light a little later because I couldn't take it. All right, that's it. Thank you all so much for listening. And as we always say, so long.